Good evening, everyone. This is Bremster. It's quite late and I'm quite tired, but I'd like to do some gaming before I go to bed, so I'm going to log on and play some Diablo for a bit.
This is fine, as far as towns go.
Just trying to chillax and play some video game. Hey, Plank Time. I'm okay. A little tired. Been a bit of a day. But, yeah, doing okay, I think. You know what? I'm going to skip that. I've recorded a bunch of puzzles today for a new series, which was fun. Though I do need to record puzzles for in the new year, so that's something I need to do.
It is done.
Okay.
What I do.
So I was looking at possibly playing something else tonight, but we ended up, Paladin needed to do something on her computer, and between that and a late dinner and everything, it wasn't, it was 11 o'clock before I was looking at starting to play, and I didn't want to start anything new or long at 11 o'clock at night. Which I hope everyone understands. That there are 8 puzzles in a new series, and I've recorded 7 of them already. Ooh. that was not where I meant to go. But my brain is off. The theme... it's an introduction to constraint series, not by me. I think the creator has done an excellent job of trying something new and trying to do something that is welcoming to new people. I think they've made a couple of mistakes, or at least they've done things very differently to the way I think is beginner friendly, but they haven't been exactly clear on what they've done or what their intended goal is. People, so you may have heard Eric and I talk about it, and I've talked about it with other people as well, how we've put a lot of work into standardizing, or not standardizing, but we've put a lot of work into how do you display constraint rules in a way that would be consistent, easily reused, and clear for everyone. And we constantly get pushback that we're telling people, it's like, well, you just want us to use your wording. And it's like, well, first of all, it's not my wording. Sure, I've been involved in the workshopping of it, but there's been a lot of people involved in it. But what we're doing is we're just trying to put something together where it's easy to communicate and you don't need to think about rules wording. You can literally just copy and paste. And the reason we feel this is important, and by we I mean the 40 people who've worked on it, is and I'm going to use this new series as an example, which kind of sounds a bit crappy, but I'm going to do it anyway, is the person who's put the pack together, who I think has done an amazing job of trying something new and trying to do something that is sort of more beginner friendly and all of that sort of stuff. And I absolutely give them all the credit in the world for trying. But in there, this is your introduction to Killer Cages puzzle. The rules don't state that digits can't repeat within a cage, and there are cages where digits could repeat by Sudoku. And if you're doing an introduction to constraints puzzle, and the problem is, I imagine that their testers were people who were just used to not reading rules. Because, well, I know the rules, so why would I read them? And I encounter a lot of testers like that. So I suspect what's happened is their testers haven't cared, and they're not used to even looking at they're not even used to even looking at rules. So it just never occurred to them that the rules don't state that digits can't repeat within cages. But without that fundamental piece of information, I don't even know that the puzzle would be solvable. I made an assumption that they meant that digits couldn't repeat because it was a killer cage tutorial puzzle. But as a puzzle designed to be, here is how you learn about killer cages, I think it's a bit of a problem if you don't have the complete rules to killer cages. Personal opinion?
Light so mercy.
And yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I've gotten, like, I work off templates, and sometimes I've forgotten to fix the rules in a puzzle based on the template, and I put it out for testing, and I've had multiple testers come back saying, yeah, the puzzle's great, and the rules have been completely wrong. And it's like, that's... And often it's not been found until after the puzzle has been published. I was like, that's bad. You want to be incredibly clear, particularly on a puzzle designed to teach. And the other thing I noticed was there were several puzzles in the series where rules were phrased differently across different puzzles. So you'd have multiple puzzles with the same constraint and the rules would be phrased differently. And it's like, I'm going to keep buying rings simply because...
It seems very nice. It seems your prayers have been answered.
You can take what's left.
And I think the puzzles are great.
Fathers, it seems your prayers have been answered.
But
Come back if you need work.
I think it's just something that you want to pay attention to. I should have come down here. I mean, my thing is normally, is your puzzle a standalone thing? Right? Can someone be sent a link to your puzzle, and if they're smart enough, solve your puzzle? So if someone who has never seen one of these puzzles before was to pick it up, are they able to solve it from the information provided? Without having to go somewhere else to ask questions and get external information. So if the answer is no, why do you not want people to not be able to pick up your puzzle and solve it without having to do external research? And I've had several setters, when I've called them out on it, turn around and say, but everyone knows that. It's like, everyone? So next time I go to the supermarket, I can turn around to the lady at the checkout and say, by the way, in killer cages in Sudoku, can digits repeat or not? And they'll know the answer. And if your response is, well, they're not the target audience for my puzzle, my follow-up question is, why not? You think they're too stupid? So if they're not the target audience for your puzzle, who is?
At least I can put...
Because one of the smartest women I know worked as a checkout lady for a decade because she enjoyed interacting with people. But she was off the chart smart. Is off the chart smart. So yeah, it's just a constant bugbear of mine. And I think it's one of the reasons why I'm incredibly unpopular among the Sudoku elite. Because they... And the reason I call them that is because that's the way they act, and that's the way they want to be they say that's not the way they want to be considered, and they don't consider themselves that. But it's the way they act. And there's a new site out for creating and solving Sudoku called Sudoku Coach. And I've already noticed in looking at the puzzles, because it's got a rating system built in, that the ratings are already useless. Like, the site is quite new and the ratings are already useless.
You can take what's left.
And it's like, right.
All right, traveler.
Yeah, I got another one of those. I should run them, because I've been waiting to run them with Fel, and then we don't. Got 3 of them now. Old man yells at cloud. Because this is the cloud. Hello, internet. The problem is they control most of the main forums. But I am incredibly unpopular. To the point where some of them have literally blocked me. Like, I'm not even allowed to recreationally solve the genuinely approachable Sudoku anymore. They have removed consent for me to even solve their puzzles. Well, one of them has. And again, that boiled down to me being critical over rules. So, there was a period last year, I can still say that because it's still 2025, where I was doing the puzzles and in like a 4-week period, I think 3 times I ended up posting to the channel, to their channel, saying, "Hi, I just want clarification on this rule, because the rule as written, I think it's this, it's probably this, but if I'm going to solve it on camera, I want to be sure." And they were basically saying, "Why do you keep asking these stupid questions? Everyone knows what we mean. You know what we mean." And I was like, I said I was fairly certain what it was, but before I solved it on camera, I wanted to be sure because the wording was ambiguous. And in one case, it got to a puzzle where it was literally a case of this wording is actually, it was a palindrome puzzle. And I basically said, the wording of the palindrome rule in this puzzle is not palindrome. The wording that it was trying to be so creative, it actually wasn't a palindrome rule. And so I turned around and said, could I just confirm what this is supposed to be? And they lost it at me. And after a while, I'd literally been turning around and saying, because I'd have been having to get my testers to test the gas puzzles, simply to confirm that the rules were what I suspected they were, before I attempted to solve it on camera, so I could go in and do a clean solve. And they just completely lost it at me, and basically said, you know what we mean. You're just doing this to be picky and to have something to complain about. It's like, I do like, yes, sort of. If there's something to complain about, I prefer there wasn't. But I mean, I just want to be clear to my viewers what it is that is being presented. And one of them then turned around and said, that's it, I've had enough. You are not allowed to solve my puzzles anymore. And I asked for clarification, whether that was a video. I'd already stopped solving them on videos, and it was like, I've already stopped solving them. I said, you are not allowed to ever solve a puzzle of mine again, was the statement. So I was like, okay, I take it to mean that means I'm never to solve their puzzle at all. No, I cannot solve this person's puzzle. So if there was ever a competition or something where I don't know who the setter is, I have to bow out. Or if there was ever an event where the setters were unknown, I have to say I can't do it because they're one of the most popular or famous setters in the world. And if they're involved, I'm broken. I can't do it. Because if one of their puzzles came off, I'd have to stop partway. The whole, and we were having the discussions about this, and I was basically stating, okay, well, I was telling people consent's been removed. I can't solve these puzzles. The person involved had blocked me, so they weren't seeing these messages at all. But one of the other creators, and I thought this was funny as heck, turned around and said, but that's not what we, that's not what we meant. And it's like, that's what was said. And it's like, but you know what we meant. And it's like, this whole thing started because of a whole, don't listen to what we say, just listen to what we mean. Now with a puzzle rule, that probably doesn't matter so much. Sure. You can make assumptions, you can try and solve a puzzle and make assumptions about the rules. When it comes to consent, do you really want to just go with the intention of what you think we mean, not what we said? Do you really want to play that game with consent? And their answer was yes. Wow. I mean, I'm not happy that it happened, but the general response was, you're being critical and I don't want you solving my puzzles if you're going to be critical. Now, I'll point out, how critical am I of my own puzzles? Whew, a lot. I am not happy when I mess things up on my own puzzles. Like, really not happy. Criticism is about how you figure out what is causing problems and figure out how to improve. Criticism about puzzle presentation is how I've continued to try and improve puzzle presentation. Criticism about puzzle rules. Now, one of the interesting things is I've never had a puzzle rule criticized on a Sudoku-tude. On puzzle features where they've come from other people, I get several a week. And that's because I'm leveraging other puzzle creators who I've worked with to really refine rules. We've put a lot of work into that. But yeah, no, I was told not allowed to solve puzzles anymore. I'll be honest with you, it's one of the reasons why I'm scared about going to Sudoku Con, because if there's an event with like puzzles being created by a particular person and it's all, you know, solved as a panel or something, which there kind of was last time is my understanding, I have to say I can't do it. And then have to explain why, potentially. And like, sorry, there are puzzle creators who have removed consent for me to solve their puzzles because I was critical of their the presentation of their puzzles, and they were not willing to, they removed consent for me to solve their puzzles because of criticism. What do I do? Like,
If I cannot be in the wilderness, this
I used to post my puzzles for testing on CTC Discord, and my messages just started disappearing. So the rules workbook that we put together, I created a PDF export of it, and posted that to the CTC Discord as a, by the way, here's some rules templates that we've put together to try and simplify it that people can copy and paste from. It's got most of the common rules and some of the uncommon rules in it. It's rules wording that has been checked for spelling. It's been checked for translation ability, so the ability to run it through Google Translate and get a translation into many languages that is clear. It's been tested for eligibility by people who don't know Sudoku. So can people who don't know Sudoku understand what is meant by the rule? So we've gone through all of that level of testing. I've used professional testers from work to test them all. We went through lots and lots and lots of work for that. And I posted the PDF in a place where you could post PDFs, and it was removed. No comments, no statements, just removed. Because that sort of work, if it's not done by one of the right people who's not interested in doing that, because that's not showing off their brilliance, that's admin, is not wanted. A lot of people left the CTC Discord over that. Because, you know, it's like, okay, these people don't actually care about trying to improve what we do. And hopefully you know me well enough to know that I just want to try and make things better for everyone. The person who said I can't solve their puzzles, I wish them well. They don't wish me well. I wish them well. I'm really glad that the stuff they're doing is still going strong. Also, I mean, I assume it is. I can't see half of the stuff they post. Awesome. What am I doing? This is a good question. What am I doing? Is there another boss I can run? Or... I'm sorry that said it was annoyed at you, but yeah, I mean, it happens to me all the time. How is this teleport? How often do you come across puzzles with confusing rules? And by confusing rules, I don't just mean it's a new rule set that you don't understand, because if it's a new rule set, someone is probably needing testing for how do I clarify this rule better? I consider that important because I've come up with novel rules before, and like I can write down what I think it means and it makes sense to me, but I know the rule. And it's really easy to write something that you can understand when you know what you mean. Writing it out and then passing it on to testers and then saying, how does this read? But often when I'm doing that, the way I will do it is I will make a grid that isn't the puzzle with the constraint in it. So I'll turn around and say, okay, I'm coming up with a new line constraint. Here's a grid with a line in it. Give me an example of how you think this works based on the rules. And that way I can get people to provide feedback on the rule, and they say, oh, you mean this by that? Ah, okay, have you thought of wording it this way or this way or this way? And honestly, it will take me 10 hours sometimes of bouncing off and reworking and everything to get a couple of lines correct in order to make sure the rule is as clear as I can make it. So a novel rule set where a setter is trying to communicate the rules is fine, but realistically that should be a discussion somewhere about how do I phrase this rule better? Because that's an important thing to do. But I'd be curious how often you come across puzzles. Oh, you said you don't even read the rules unless you get stuck. I wonder how many puzzles where you don't read the rules actually have ambiguous rules. Like, I see ones with Renban where it doesn't say non-repeating. I see ones with... I see people use the word sequence a lot. And since the creation of sequence lines, the word sequence is a bit of a problem. But one of the things about sequence, if you look it up in the dictionary, is it is by definition in order. So when I see things like Renban, where it says this is must contain non-repeating sequence of digits in any order, it's like sequence in any order is contradictory. And similarly, the people who say, I refuse to put non-repeating into my Renban rules because a consecutive set of numbers is always non-repeating. It depends on your branch of mathematics, apparently. Which blew my mind when I first heard it. All of the people here for Diablo, feel free to chime in and start a conversation on Diablo, all the people joining in for Diablo. I'm more than happy for that to happen. I imagine this is a very unpopular gaming stream because of all the puzzle discussion. But I'm of the opinion a rising tide raises all ships. So I actually would like things to be better for everyone. And I try and create tools and systems and information that will make things better for everyone. No, it's fine. I mean, I'm enjoying it, sort of. This is all the other people who are coming and going. Like, this is a Diablo stream. What are you guys talking about? Yeah. I'm happy for someone to start a conversation about movies or TV shows or... I enjoyed playing the Hidden Cat game. So have you solved any really good puzzles lately, Plankton? I mean, the reason I'm upset with the situation that happened last year is because I really just want us to be a nice community, and the whole concept of being able to provide criticism is in order for people to sort of get some intellectual empathy, or empathy in general, but intellectual empathy, and be able to improve the quality of what's being done. And if you do want to do it the way you do it, just go in from an educated perspective. I'm deliberately doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing it out of ignorance. But being maliciously ignorant because someone was critical and saying, I don't want to listen to criticism. If someone's going to be critical of me, then I actually just want to stop them from being able to be critical. Yeah, Pluribus is on our watch list. What were we... I mean, so I don't know if you... Where are you based, Plank Time? I'm not sure. We just watched Big Fat Quiz of the Year. So every year there is a quiz show done out of the UK called Big Fat Quiz of the Year. And it's basically a comedy quiz about events of the year with celebrity comedians. And it's always good fun. And it was released 2 days ago, I think. You're in Virginia. I don't know why. Virginia was always one of the states I kind of had... I don't know why. Like... I'm going to say it was one of the states I wanted to visit. There's nothing in Virginia in particular I wanted to visit. I mean, it gets mentioned a lot in Hamilton. But that's not why. I'm not sure why it is. I'm just trying to have some fun. I'm just trying to have some fun. Don't worry, don't lose your head. Didn't mean to hurt anyone. I mean... I have a Hamilton tattoo. I'm kind of into American history. I am a big history buff. Probably more European than American, though just history in general. I mean, America and Australia are both a bit boring, because we don't really have any history.
It is done.
Chaos. Every time I hear Virginia, I think of like rolling green plains and everything. I have no idea if that's true. Oh, I should have asked Fel. I had a bit of a craving for roux over the break, and I'm not sure if Fel got some meat to have. We're moving to a simpler diet for a while, and we were basically just going to have some simple meat proteins with, you know, vegetables and stuff. Salads a lot because it's the middle of summer here, and I'm not sure if one of the meat she got was roux. Yeah, the Civil War stuff is interesting to me. I mean, for some reason. Although, I mean, the American Civil War is just kind of scary. Like, sorry, the first American Civil War is kind of scary. The second one is going to be more scary. So does that mean you work in a political job? Feel free to tell me that you're not allowed. Feel free to tell me it's none of my damn business. Because it's none of my damn business. What do I want to do? I think I want to do some Kurest Undercity. I mean, DC would be, I mean, I was interested in visiting America. Not now. Not to get political, but there's travel warnings out for that country. So you do professionally what I do as a sideline of my job. So I'm in data integration systems. So security is something we have to pay attention to, but I'm not a cybersecurity expert. But I am sort of quite competent at data transference while maintaining security, to the point where our cybersecurity team may not like me very much, but they know I don't cut corners. So when projects frequently come to me and want to do their data integration or their data transfer systems, and it's like, we're just going to do this. And it's like, well, I'm not coding it and I'm not allowing it on my system because that won't be secure. It's like, but it's only a one-off. I don't care. So I did some work. I mean, I started out in IT. I've done all sorts of stuff. I started out as a system builder. So I started off in retail. Then I moved to hardware Q&A. So we were building systems in a Q&A office. I ended up running that Q&A office for a while. Then, so that was going, well, that was basically building the systems and hot running them to make sure that when they were put out on the client site, we knew that there was not going to be like a hardware failure in the first day or anything, because we'd done burn-in. Something you don't get anymore because, I mean, it's just not something that people care about much anymore. That sort of quality control is considered too expensive to be worth it. I'm talking a long time ago. Then I moved into frontline support. Then I moved into backline support. Then I became a network engineer, a junior network engineer, but a network engineer to the point where at least I understood what was going on with networking stuff. Got my CCNA, never got higher than CCNA, and basically became a jack of all trades. And because of that, in my current job where we integrate with so many different systems, you know, knowledge of things like the OSI model and all of that sort of stuff means that, and you know, having had experience as a network engineer, done some DBA work and some basic development work and everything, means that when I'm working with teams, I'm able to talk to them with a level of technical competence that a lot of people who are coming in now just don't have. They know their thing. They are trained on platform A, and they basically know application and presentation layer. They don't even really understand the session layer. It's like, which you contact them and say, there's a problem with connecting to your application. They go, well, I can talk to it so everything's fine. That's not how this works. Yeah, getting senior application developers in who do not understand I'm not getting any dropped frames. No drop frames from my end. It's reporting as it's transmitting okay. I'm not getting any connection issues reported by YouTube. I'm not saying that it's not my end. I'm just saying that if it is my end, I'm not seeing anything I could do. Yeah, I'll admit I don't know what ORM is. I know basic SQL. I know enough SQL to know that I should never be given anything but read-only, and possibly not even that, to any database that could possibly be in any way considered connected in any way, shape or form to production, or possibly even test. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty much at the point now where if I wanted to generate SQL, I would be using an SQL tool. My skills are so rusty. I don't think I've written an SQL command in 8 years. Why did I do that? I mean, one of the things that I really want to try and understand how to do is write the, I think it's a JavaScript derivative for writing custom constraints for Sudoku Maker. That interests me. Uh-oh. I broke my water. Now, when I say that,
You won't? Oh, not absolutely. My, don't be gone long now.
I don't mean that from the perspective of, oh, my water's broken. I mean it that my water bottle is empty. But it's also after midnight. So, do you know the puzzle creator GDC? Hey, everyone. Okay. So if anyone who's watching has been a Diablo 4 player this season, I'm very curious what people have thought of Season 11. I think it's been an excellent season. I don't know how much of that is just the Paladin, but I think a lot of the adjustments they've made to gearing, I think Sanctification is great, and I think getting rid of it would be a mistake. Because that concept of get your gear to a nice location and then lock it down and then go chase for something better, or if you get something like you get something that is potentially an upgrade and you sanctify it to try and see, I think that's been really good. Do. And Dario. Do 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 do. Here we go into the fight with Endariel. Yeah, I had a really nice toasty today with so a couple of days ago with relish on it. A couple of days ago, friends came over for a movie day, and one of them brought relish to have on toasties that she made. Her toasties were better than mine. But I had a toasty today with fresh bread and relish and ham and cheese, and it was yummy. Is there a world boss in 9 minutes? 22 minutes. Hey, Ignition. Ontario, actually. How are you, Ignition? Yeah, I've been trying to avoid eating as heavy as I have been recently, and so far I'm doing okay. Like, I'm still overeating after dinner tonight, which was a really nice steak with some... There was a particular name for the type of potatoes we had. They weren't baked, but they weren't scallop potatoes, but they were like scallop potatoes. I can't remember the name of it. Felinae will be disappointed at me for not remembering. But we had really nice, these sliced baked potatoes, really beautifully done in a really nice sauce. And steak and mushrooms. Steak with a mushroom sauce. Really nice. I had a very nice dinner. But smaller cuts of meat, less quantity on the plate. And while I did have ice cream for dessert, I definitely had a lot less than I've been eating recently. So I'm trying to... and Felinae and I have changed our food order regular system in order to try and sort of reduce the amount of overfeeding, like there's just oversupply of food coming into the house, to try and make it that we're just not overeating as much. this is the plan. Whether the plan works, you get 20 points per. So that's 25 kills. So what did you have for dinner, Ignition? I keep reaching for my water bottle, but it's empty.
Need something forged? Come back if you need work.
So Maggie and I go out for Indian quite a lot, and I will admit we tend to get fairly Western. So we'll normally get either a lamb sarg or a paneer sarg. We will get a like a lamb korma. There's a dish. I can't remember the name of it. I know its location on the menu, which is a peanut sauce lamb, which is really nice. We get mild because Maggie is having more and more digestive issues as she's getting older, and she can't handle the spices as much. She can eat them. She can't digest them very well. So we tend to get mild, and then we'll like get a cheese naan and a lassi. So we're very, very Western in our in our ordering. But you may have noticed I'm quite white. Curious about something.
You can take what's left.
So yeah, the restaurant we go to is called Desi Daba in Tarneet. It's that I'm looking for. I think. No, it's this one. Getting a good amulet. I just wanted to see whether it was possible to get.
That's good salvage.
Has not happened yet. Yes and no. Like, for example, when I'm coming into here, I'm sort of trying to buy an item and I'll get something at random, and any drop is random, but there's no real gambling involved. Like, there's no spend money to buy something to try and get the thing. If you're buying cosmetics, you are either spending money to get the cosmetic that you want, or you are yeah, there's no real gambling.
until spring.
I saw one of the big streamers do a review of the game, and they said that they weren't a fan that you had to farm up the materials for like 100 keys to get one of the I can't remember what it's called, but one of the mythic dungeon keys. I have crafted way more than 100 keys, and almost everyone I know has crafted way more than 100 keys without seeing one. It's like, yeah, it's only like every 100 keys. Dude, you are doing way better than everyone else.
Fare thee well.
I don't know. I mean, I keep thinking, and I've said this before, I keep thinking that Blizzard has put some sort of fine tuning on their account to make it more likely that they get the big flashy stuff as an advertisement without telling them. Because the experience they get does not seem to match the experience that I've seen pretty much everyone else get. Like, every season. Damn, I missed it. I did not see that treasure goblin running away. And I do not believe for a second that they have asked for it or that they would want it if they thought they had it. But the fact that every season they are infinitely more lucky The only game where I have not seen that be a thing for the big streamers is Last Epoch. I don't think I've seen them be any more lucky than anyone else in Last Epoch. And I think it's possible there's like a flag on accounts that maybe even like, I'll be honest with you, that maybe even the main developers of the game don't know about. like the people who are designing the balance of the game and everything, are not fully aware of. Maybe the lead designer has been told by marketing, we're doing this, don't tell anyone. Like, we're getting one of the developers to put this code into the game and just... This is going to be a little module that no one else can read or anything. You know what it's for, and just do not tell anyone. Because it's marketing. It is pure marketing, and it's free marketing. Why would a company not do free marketing like that? And I honestly believe that the streamers don't think it's a thing, and a lot of the developers don't think it's a thing. I think the lead developer possibly would know, and the marketing team and the executives would know. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because I think it's excellent as a marketing tool. I wouldn't want it if I was a big streamer, because I want to show the like the way I stream, I want to show the genuine experience of what the game is like. And I don't actually think that that's what these guys get. I think there's a lot of streamers out there that do. But if you watch some of the smaller streamers,
Let's come back if you need work.
no. Not a big streamer, do not want. As I said, even if I was a big streamer, I wouldn't want it. And I don't think they do either. But it's... I can understand why a company would want to do it. Plank Time was on a work call, so I'm not even sure he's around. And I'd like to think I'm wrong. I'd love... But it's really hard to think I'm wrong when... And honestly, when their accounts are known by Blizzard, they get invited to special events and everything. So it's not as if they're not, you know, people, Blizzard don't know who these big guys are. And you watch them and it's like, they're talking about drop rates of these really rare items and how often they get, you know, 4 GA items with good rolls and stuff. And it's really, like, it's really not the same as everyone else. I mean, is it possibly confirmation bias? Yes. But one of the guys I work with plays Diablo 4 pretty heavily. Like, way more than I do. And, like, I remember after a couple of the seasons talking to him and saying things like, you know, so how many mythics did you get in your entire season of hitting level 300, doing all the boss rotators, completing the season journey, you know, doing all of that sort of stuff, leveling up multiple characters until, you know, he's doing high level pit in all of them, all of that sort of stuff. So he's doing all of the content. You know, how many mythics did he get? And he'd say, oh, maybe, you know, 6 or 7. And I look at people like Woodajo or Rax, and day 2, they're turning around and saying, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do this on my second one of this particular mythic. They're like, so you've got enough that you're picking and choosing what you're doing on your duplications of some of them. on day 2. What?
At least I can put my skills.
And I think a lot of it is because they could put out these videos where they turn around and say, here's the best way to farm mythics. And it'll get people engaged in the game to try and farm those mythics for using those methods. But what takes the streamer, 5-6 hours is going to take a normal player 15 to 20. And that's the playtime that Blizzard are after. Grumble, grumble, grumble. How's that for cybersecurity, Plank Time?
Greetings.
I've got 2 minutes. I'm actually going to go put water in my water bottle. I am feeling incredibly thirsty. Yeah, I mean, the build guides where you see them say it's like, oh, you want to switch to this build around Paragon 80 once you've got all your mythics. I'm sorry, what? The chance of me having a mythic by Paragon 80, let alone the right mythic, let alone all of the mythics. Like, I'm nearly 250 and I haven't seen, I've seen what, 3 mythics drop? No, 2. 2 mythics drop. This is a world boss. So world bosses are out, basically they're out in the world, which is MMO. So it is kind of co-op. I'm doing it with all the other players. Yes. Which is good, because this thing would take forever to kill if I was here on my own. Assuming I even could. And I like Riker's content a lot. I like Rudy Joe's content a lot. Rax has been mostly I liked Rax's D3 content. His D4 content, his PoE content, I think he's one of the ones who's been incredibly guilty of you just do this. And I've seen him put out several build guides for Diablo, which basically assumed that you already had all of the gear. And it was like, I saw him put out one leveling build guide that basically assumed that you had all of your glyphs at legendary level before you started, and it was like, but I don't even have my glyphs before I start. It's like, what? And I wouldn't be surprised to find out that that was a someone doing it for him.
Yet no true horror is instilled. Now as Modan. That is a name whispered with trembling lips and a choked breath.
Well, that was a world boss. I've been in another work call that should have been an email. Yeah, we all know that one.
Take a chance, wanderer. Fair bit of it's a whole battle. It seems very nice. It seems your prayers have been answered.
You can take, huh?
But I love their content. It's just I just don't understand how they're so lucky. And the whole, you know, every 100 you've got to get 100 keys in order to get one of the mythic pranksters. I've been through way more than 100 keys. I've been through several hundred keys. Never seen a mythic prankster. I'm not expecting to see a mythic prankster. Then again, make a liar out of me, game.
Craft here. Only honest magic.
So, that is 5 mythics and a 5 mythics for everyone in the party and a resplendent spark. I just got a mythic prankster. Okay, game made a liar out of me. Oh, I love RNG. So, talking about non-Diablo for a minute. I have been doing solo role-playing. So I've been using the Mythic Game Master emulator and Adventure Crafter. This is the other book. And I've also been using occasionally, I haven't been using it, but I'm wanting to at some point use solo mode, single player for Cyberpunk to do some solo Cyberpunk role playing. These books are phenomenal for solo role playing, and they are all random numbers. I am surrounded by dice. I've actually been doing some Cthulhu by Gaslight solo role playing. I love random stuff. But what I love is random stuff that is in aid of a story. Well, it's the whole complaining guild and something happens, but I got my mythic prankster key. It'd be really nice if I could team up with a couple of members of the audience tomorrow. So maybe if we can log on tomorrow morning, I'm not sure if Fel will be available, we might be able to do the mythic prankster and knock that one out. That'd be really cool. What I am going to do... Yeah, all you need to do is complain about it loudly enough. Oh, and I know what happened. Planktime said he turned on that big streamer flag on my account. It's a joke. So thanks, Planktime. It absolutely worked. You can turn it off again now. It was a successful test.
Something found, you found.
For anyone who thinks that that might be a thing, it's not a thing. I don't know Lord's Mobile, but I know a lot of those mobile games can be a problem. It's why I try and switch between games a bit. I've reached Paragon 250. Surely I can get more strength within range. Not? So a mythic prankster spawns a dungeon that will have a goblin in it, and the goblin will drop 5 mythic items. You know, those ones that are really, really rare. It will drop 5 of them for every person in the dungeon, and it will drop one of the mythic crafting items, which are also incredibly rare. So it effectively drops 5.5 mythic items for everyone in the run. And because one person with the mythic prankster key can then, like if you've got two people with the mythic prankster key, then everyone gets 10 mythics. But that's the first one I've seen out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of keys. But I did finally get one.
They were nothing. Did you truly think all of this would be that easy? You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, the big question, Chip, is did you hit your head? Because if you hit your head, get it looked at. I've had a few falls, getting old. I've had a few falls lately. One of them I had a fall, didn't really get it looked at. And the bruise on the knee is still there 18 months later. So it can be worth getting it looked at anyway, because I was an idiot. This is Bremster. Bremster was dumb. Don't be like Bremster. I forgot to go to the tree. Have a good one, Plank Time. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I probably should stop soon. Holy shit. Well, that's the ring I want. Plank Time was not supposed to actually turn that flag on my account. Oh, I'm dropping frames. It seems to have stopped. Plank Time was not supposed to actually turn that off. Turn that flag on my account. I'm going to lose a little bit of strength, don't care. A little bit of maximum life, don't care. A little bit of life on hit, that's a bit annoying. A little bit of faith on kill, don't care. Ooh, I'm going to lose a little bit of resource gen. This will be interesting. But I kind of have to do this. Yeah, that one I dropped frames for a few seconds. That was me.
It is done.
That's another really rare item. What is going on?
What will it be?
Socket. Steam. Socket the ring. Can't temper a ring. Can't enchant a ring. Can't aspect a ring. Masterwork. Now, what do I want to masterwork on this sucker? I've never actually looked this up. Core skills. I want to masterwork the core skills. Okay.
There's a good one.
Like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, quality increase. 23 item quality? Okay.